Hi folks, Rick here. Welcome to my channel. Alright, well today I'm going to be showing you how to rebuild a precision steering stabilizer. There's really not much to it other than some seals. Just a little background. These things are really bulletproof, but this last race I was at, it wasn't working right. And I had no clue why, but I got my bike set up for turning, and when it's not working right, the bike is really jittery, and that's what was happening. But I've had a couple races this year already, and it worked fine. I serviced it over the winter, and so I've had a couple races that worked fine, and it didn't work fine this last time. Had no clue. It was really odd. I pulled it down. It actually feels good. I thought maybe it might have a bad seal in it, so I ordered a seal kit just so I would get one. Don't see any leaks on the darn thing. Check my front end out. Nothing wrong there. Maybe a ball joint or something was going bad, or tie rod. Everything seems to be good. It seems like though after playing with it, there might be a tad bit of air in the stabilizer. And so I don't know if it somehow sucked air, or there was an air bubble in it that just happened to get to a spot here at this last race where it didn't like and wasn't working good. I don't know. But I went ahead and ordered the seal kit anyway. Again, this thing has got to be perfect. And so since I've already bought it, I'm going to go ahead and install it. Seems pretty easy, and I'll show you guys how to do it in case you have an old one or yours starts leaking or something like that. You can see how to do it. They're pretty easy. So let's get set up and we'll take a look. All right, hope you guys can all see all this. So here's my stabilizer. I've got it off the bike. I got it off the mounting bracket, which just goes on here. Took all that off. Tried cleaning it up as best I could. I've drained the oil out of it. I pulled my little screws out the bottom here, which go right in here. Moved it back and forth, got all the oil out. And so now what we're going to do here is just take it apart. So here's a seal kit that they got. So we're going to go ahead and install this thing. This doesn't look too bad. We're just going to take this thing apart, and we'll get it back together, and everything should be in good shape here. So yeah, let's get a move on, and we'll get it done. So first thing I'm going to do here, I think all these screws are the same, but we're going to take off these little stop. Hopefully you can see on this thing here if I'm pointing to it. These little stop, I don't know what you call them, screws here, but they prevent these from going out. You can only come out so far because they hit these. So we're going to take those out first. It's going to get an Allen wrench here. You want to make sure you spray all this off with some brake cleaner or something to get all the mud out of the darn thing there, because the mud gets in there. You want to make sure that you get your Allen wrench all the way down in and seated good so you don't strip any of these things out. So let's see here. Hopefully I got the right size Allen wrench. Just get it down in there, and we'll just take these out. Okay, it's like so. Stick that over there. We're going to go ahead and move out our big adjusted screws here. Now you can back them all the way out. So there you go. You can see here, hopefully, see there's a little seal that's going to go on this one right here. Pull this one here out as well. Stick that up on there. All right, so now we're going to go through and take out all these ones right here. Well, of course, it's not the same wrench size. So as with anything here, like aluminum here, it's a good idea to go ahead and loosen them all before you take them out. That just helps everything prevent warping. So just going to go around here in just kind of a cross pattern here, so to speak, like you would torque them down, and just kind of undo them here a little bit. So that's probably pretty good. Right, you can't see what I'm doing here. I'm just taking these off. So I'm going to go ahead and remove all these and we'll take a look at it. Okay, so I've got all the screws out. A couple things here. This base plate here only goes on, it's got these two screws that locate it there. But I went ahead and made a mark right here, right in the center, just so I could put this back. But it doesn't really matter which way it goes. So I've taken that off. I just like to make sure everything kind of goes back the same. I've got all my screws laid out. These are the two center screws. These are ones that goes all the way around the edge. They're all the same screws, but I just get in the habit of putting everything kind of, making sure I know exactly what way it goes. You never know when you pull something apart if one screw's longer, one screw's shorter, something's different. You just don't know about it, just by looking at it. It looks to be the same. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But this is what the inside looks like. We're going to go ahead here and very easily just hopefully pop out this shaft. Hopefully this is all in good shape. Kind of do a quick inspection of this. No wear on this thing here. Yeah, so the shaft, everything feels really good. So I'm not sure if there was anything wrong. I think it might have just had an air bubble in there. I don't know. But this has to work. I can't go out there without this thing working. And I already bought the seal kit, so I'm just going to go ahead and install the thing. It's not going to hurt it there. So at this stage here, there's a couple things here. You've got a dust seal at the top here we want to pull out. And then, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not. Probably not. But inside here, there's another O-ring here. So if you look at this one, this little O-ring here, it goes right around this shaft and it sits down probably about right here. It sits down here. So we're going to get a little pick, pull that out, pull out this top dust seal, and then really what I'm going to do is clean this darn thing up and get it ready to go back together. So let me go ahead and do that. We'll put this thing back together, get all the new seals in there, and then we'll get this thing bled out and ready to go. All right, folks. Recording here. All right. So I got this, and what do I do with the thing? I got this little seal out here at the top. It went flying. A little difficult to get out. It sits just in there. You just got to be careful working it in and stuff like that. And then we're going to go ahead and put this little seal in here first and get that going here. So I'm going to go ahead and work this in. It just goes right back in the slot. It's going to be difficult here to film, so I'm going to go ahead and put these back in. All right, so I got my seal and I got my little rubber in here. So this thing here, if you look at this thing, it is bigger than this hole. So it doesn't look like, I first thought, holy crap, this is the wrong size seal, but I measured against this one here and it's not. What you got to do is just wedge this in here and you just squish it in. This one's hard as a rock. You just squish it. It goes right in. Fits good in there. So that one's all ready to go. Again, the big thing here also is we want to make sure that we're super clean. So I've been brake cleaning this thing. It's all ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and put my seal here. Get this thing down in here. Just kind of goes in a little bit of a zigzag pattern. There we go. Now, this is all ready to go back together. What I'm going to do here, though, is just put just a tad bit of oil on the top of this seal, some fork oil. Just like so. That'll keep it from pinching. Just put it on the top. Now, we are ready here to put this thing back together. So, go ahead and make sure I got everything cleaned up. Gonna put a little bit of oil on my shaft here as well. In fact, I'm just gonna go ahead and pour just a little bit in this thing here and just let it drip around all over that seal and stuff on the inside. Gonna make a little bit of a mess. But this way here, I know it's nice and lubed on the inside. There's my shaft here. Got some extra oil. Put it all over this shaft really good. And we're just gonna shove this thing right down in that hole. Nice and easy past our O-ring, making sure we're not going to ding anything or dent it. There we go. Put this thing right down the center. Voila. Then I got some oil everywhere. This, we're ready to go. Okay, just making sure I ain't got no dirt anywhere. All right. So with that, I'm gonna stick our plate on. For me, I've got my mark. Gonna go right on this side right here. Make sure I got everything lined up nice and good. Then I'm gonna put these back. So, this is probably a stainless steel screw. This is aluminum. A little bit of water, they're just gonna corrode bad. Now these weren't bad in there, so me personally, I'm a big fan of this anti-seize stuff here. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that on mine. It's probably not necessary. Some people might wanna put Loctite or some other crazy thing on there. I don't like to do that. I'm gonna go ahead and put some of that. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna get all this installed, and we'll continue up on it. All right, folks, so I got all that messy anti-seize on here. I wanna mention there, when you put these screws back in, you don't wanna tighten them, you just wanna get them to where they're just starting to make contact and do a crisscross. For one, you don't wanna warp your aluminum, you also don't wanna crush your seal. So just kinda go back and forth a little bit here, just snug them up. I just, as soon as they start look like they're bottom out, I stop. I'm gonna get all of them that, and then I'm gonna go back and just snug them up a little bit more, then I'll go ahead and tighten them. There's no torque on any of this kind of stuff. There's no, they don't really have any torque specs that I've been able to find. I do want to point out something else here too, is they offer a rebuild service. I don't know what it is. It's not all that expensive. It's really nice here with Precision, is as much money as they charge you for these god darn stabilizers, the replacement parts for them are pretty darn cheap. The seal kit didn't cost anything. I had a review video on this thing here earlier in the year where I bought a new arm. You can get a new arm kit with a linkage on it. That stuff's really cheap. And even the rebuild service, if you want to just send this thing into them, you can do that and they'll rebuild the thing for you and it'll come back like new. And so if this type of stuff isn't your, up your alley, you can do that. I just, with the way parts are today, I just try to do the stuff myself. That's why as soon as I was having problems, I went ahead and ordered the seal kit. I didn't even check out the thing there. There isn't much to go wrong with them other than the seal, so I went ahead and ordered it. And so I don't even think I really needed to do this, but I already bought it. It's just, you never know. And so sending this off, I'm not sure when I'm gonna get it back. I gotta get some, it's right in the middle of race season, so this is not the time to be delayed. But if this was off season or something like that, it might just be worth just send it to them, have a professional do the darn thing. That way it comes back, not only rebuilt professionally, it's all serviced professionally. The thing will be like brand new, ready to go for a few more years there. So give that some thought there if you don't feel like doing this yourself. Okay, so I've just been kind of going, I started crisscrossing. You can see now I've just kind of resorted to going around, but now they're all snugged up, and I got this messy stuff everywhere. Don't get it down into the body. It's the worst thing about this anti-seize. But now I'm going to go ahead and just snug these things up a little bit more here where they're tight, and I'm going to be done. Okay, now I lost track of where I was at, so I'm just going to go around and double check. Again, these are really tiny screws, and you're screwing them into aluminum there, so be darn careful how tight you do it. Again, this is not something you're used to doing, this type of work. I've never done this before. I had no clue what I was up to, but you know, I've done work like this, so you just got to be careful. You got to know your torques to be able to tell how much torque in something there just by hand. So, all right, so that is good to go. All right, so with this here, I'm going to go ahead and loosen this up here again. I'm going to flip this over. Find a clean spot here. I'm going to go ahead and install our little screws, but I got to go ahead and get these seals off here and put my new seals on. Yeah, just got to try to pry these things off. So I'm going to go ahead and get this done, then I'll go ahead and stick them in here. You don't want to watch this stuff. I'd be here forever. All right, folks, hopefully you can see this. I got these on. A little bit of pain getting on and off, but they also come with these little foam protectors here. Oops, little foam protectors here. So you want to get them on. So we're going to go ahead and put these in. We'll go ahead and screw them in. We need to get them down in there, not all the way down the bottom there, but we need to get them in because we're going to put these stops on here. So just put all these back in here. That's probably more than enough on that one. Probably good on that one. Little screw right here. It's getting a little bit of Loctite, or not Loctite, but I like to put anti-seize. Nothing else that makes a really, really good mess. That's the nice thing about anti-seize. I'm going to run these down in. Okay, now we're going to back these back out until they hit the stops. Alrighty, now we are ready to bleed this thing. I'm going to go ahead and just do it like this. I can just turn this thing by hand like this. All right, let me get set up with some oil. All right, so the two screws here that are open, we're going to force oil down into these things here. You can leave the gaskets on. I got this little thing here. I'm just going to It's just a mess. I should probably just... You want to make sure you're also not over top of something as well. There we go. Again, there's no way for this not to be a mess, so don't worry about it. So you've got here, if you get a cord, I think it's 20 weight fork oil that they recommend for this thing. That's a lifetime of this stuff here, so you don't have to worry about it. So I've got this in here. What we want to do now is I like to keep a little oil on the top. We just want to twist this thing back and forth really slow. It's going to puke a little bit, and then we want to make sure we don't get any air going back. What's going on here with my cap's falling off, I think. We want to keep enough oil on the top here so it doesn't suck in any air. And then we're just going to kind of rotate this thing back and forth until we get all the air out. You can see it. I don't know if you can see it there, but it's puking air out the top a little bit here. That's what we want to do, is just get all these darn air bubbles out. Gonna keep going at this thing here. Yeah, it's getting a lot of air out. It's sucking some more fluid in. But that's it. We're going to keep going. I'm going to get the air out. We're going to stick our little screws back in, and we've got these little tiny O-rings to go back in there, and then we're going to bolt it on, and it's going to be good to go. But that's it. That's really the rebuild kit. They always come with some new precision stickers, so if you're short on those, they come with those. But it's not bad. I've never done this. I don't know how long it's taken me. Time I find the tools, get stuff in there. It was pretty easy. The hardest thing was this top seal. Getting this out was a little tricky, and also when it went back in, it just was odd because I wasn't prepared for it being big. But it snaps right in there. It all works good. Get all your O-rings in. Lay your parts out on the table so you know where everything's at. And then it'll all go back together easy. So with that, that's how you rebuild one of these things here. So take care.